President Mahama files his nomination to contest the NDC's presidential primaries amidst jubilation from scores of party supporters. Is Mahama's opponent, George Boateng, really a threat to his presidential ambition? Also, Ghana and Nigeria to revive and expand the joint Ghana-Nigeria Commission for cooperation to enhance security and socio-economic cooperation. Will this make a difference in security for both Ghana and Nigeria? This is today's big story. My name is Aishi Brian. Today, Nigerian President General Muhammadu Buhari paid a day's working visit to Ghana, at the end of which the two countries agreed to revive an existing cooperation to enhance security and socio-economic cooperation. Now, the two countries have also resolved for closer cooperation between intelligence and anti-graft institutions. Let's speak to security analyst Dr. Kwesi Ening, who's on the phone line now, to explore the benefits this revival of the cooperation brings. Many thanks to you, Dr. Ening, and thanks for joining us on today's big story.
That's a great pleasure.
So how significant is the visit of Buhari to Ghana in terms of regional security cooperation?
Well, I think it's significant in several ways. Ghana is Nigeria's closest ally. You know, Ghana does massive trading with Nigeria in terms of the West African sub-region. Nigerian investments in Ghana are huge. You know, its economic investments alone in our educational sector, it's over $1 billion annually. You know, both countries have their citizens, you know, living in each other's countries. We are the main drivers of the ECOWAS integration scheme. We were the main drivers of the, you know, ECOWAS ceasefire monitoring group, ECOMOG, that successfully, you know, has intervened in several conflicts around the sub-region. So, you know, Ghana-Nigeria relations, although driven by both conflict and cooperation at times, and occasionally, you know, have gone through some low turn, you know, is the fulcrum around which the West African integration scheme, you know, revolves. So this is a very important visit. But let me say this: Buhari would certainly have visited Ghana first, but because of the Boko Haram, you know, challenge, and because of the regional dynamics, Mr. Buhari had to, of course, visit Niger and then Chad first. But most certainly, this is a very significant visit, and it sends a clear signal of his interest and his willingness to have much, you know, closer relations. This is a historical relationship going back over 150 years. So it's very significant, and I'm really very happy that he's chosen to visit us.
Dr. Ening,
yes.
Dr. Ening, this revived cooperation, what new will it bring to the fight against terrorism in the sub-region and Africa in general?
Well, I think in terms of the security bit, I'm hoping that it will lead to better sharing of intelligence. I think it will lead to a closer exchange of the technologies or the new technologies needed to fight the new canker of terrorism and violent extremist organizations that we are seeing. I don't think we should just look at it through the security lens. I think predicating it also on closer socio-economic and development issues is key, because most of the people who are joining Boko Haram, ISIS, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda, Mujao, and Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb are not only joining it purely because of ideology. They are joining it also partly because they think that there is a desire or there's an exclusivist type of elitist politics in West Africa. And therefore, joining these groups allows them to strike a blow at the state. So a stronger collaborative exchange of goods, of ideas, and of services certainly we will enhance the economy, get many more younger people employed, and hopefully try to divert the attentions of the youth away from the discourses and the recruiting strategies of these groups who are trying to threaten our livelihoods.
But there are those who always see Ghana's posturing in fighting terrorism as dangerous to our internal security, especially on the back of what happened in Kenya when the government took a firm position against Al-Shabaab. Must Ghana continue with such defiant posturing?
Oh, well, I think if we look historically, probably Ghana experienced more terrorist activities in this country than Nigeria until the last 2 or 3 years. There are lots of violent groups in this country. And in the last 2 or 3, there have been instances where electricity pylons, where communication pylons have attempted to be blown up by people. We don't know them yet. So a closer collaboration with Nigeria. Of course, we've seen the Islamic State recruitment processes in this country. So we need to share better intelligence. We need to share the information. We've got to build better trust. We've got to build a network that allows both. Look, we are facing this challenge. Can you help us with this information? How best do you think we can respond to this particular challenge? So for me, on balance, the challenge of negative repercussions from closer collaboration as against the positive outcomes. The positive outcomes certainly do overweigh the negative repercussions, and I think kudos to both presidents.
You have indicated how happy you are about this revived cooperation. Let's look at the other benefits that we should be expecting from this revived cooperation.
Well, we have world-class educational institutions, and as I said much earlier on, Nigeria is putting in more than $1 billion. Right now, quite a lot of the dollars flowing into our bank accounts are coming from Nigeria because the Nigerian banks are not accepting deposits over the counter. Hopefully we will expand, trading opportunities for good quality Ghanaian goods to go into Nigeria. Our health services are increasingly becoming world-class, both private, provision of health, and we are seeing health tourism from the Nigerian side also growing. So the potential economic benefits are also quite huge. The trick or the challenge is to move this from the rhetoric, because we've seen too many of them, from the rhetoric of establishing a commission to actually delivering on what has been signed on the dotted line this afternoon. But I'm optimistic. Buhari's leadership in Nigeria is bringing about fundamental changes. You enter Abuja or Lagos now, people are sitting straighter. Right. There's a certain sense of pride in being Nigerian, and hopefully that good feeling will also rub off on us. Right.
Many thanks to you, Dr. Enin, for your contribution on today's big story. Extremely grateful for your time. Now, President Mahama has filed his nomination at the NDC headquarters, and we're trying to go to the headquarters of the NDC. We'll be getting a live update from our man Afre Kwachi Nyama, who is there to cover events. But we have on the phone lines Mr. Joe Jackson. He's always corrected me on that. He's a political commentator to speak more on this. Good evening and welcome to today's big story, Mr. Jackson. Hello, Mr. Jackson. You're welcome to today's big story.
Good evening.
Yes. So President Mahama appears to be the favorite to lead his party into the 2016 elections. Was it really necessary for other aspirants to be allowed to contest him? Because from the crowd you see at the party headquarters, it really shows that he's indeed their favorite.
Hello?
Mr. Jackson.
Yes, sorry, the line was breaking up, so I didn't hear you then.
I'm saying that from the crowd we've seen at the party headquarters today, where President Mahama has just filed his nominations for the 2016 election, he appears to be the favorite to lead his party into the 2016 election. So was it really necessary for other aspirants to be allowed to contest him?
It was. It was very important that everybody who felt he could, was qualified and felt he could contest with a better plan to present first and foremost NDC to contest. It demonstrates that there is a democracy within the party and that they will not suppress any voice. Anyway, for the whole country, anybody who is qualified and wants to contest must be allowed to contest. So it is okay. And what is happening is of no surprise. Remember, he's the incumbent. It takes a lot of courage to be able to come against the incumbent of the party.
Right.
So it's neither surprising or even that he has so much support. Neither is it wrong for all others to be allowed to contest if they so wish.
So what difference will it make if he was made to go unopposed? I'm talking about the President Mahama.
Well, the difference is that if he was made to go, if there's nobody contesting, nobody wishes to contest, that's fine. Since he's the incumbent, it's not surprising. But I think the party should ensure that truly nobody else wants to contest before they elect him unopposed. Some of the reports that are coming of how those who want to contest and those who are helping them to contest leave some disquiet with us observers. Everyone should be allowed to contest. If President Mahama is truly as strong as we all believe he is, he should not be afraid of anybody who will come against him.
So, of course, there's this gentleman called George Boateng who has picked his nomination, who has expressed his intention of contesting President Mahama. So, what will the NDC's chances be like if for any reason Mahama fails to secure the party's mandate for 2016, but instead George Boateng, for example, wins the primaries?
Well, the chances of anybody unseating President Mahama from the party flag are very slim to almost non-existent. But anyone who wishes to contest must be allowed to. And again, George Boateng, I think his chances are very slim. His vision for both the party and the country don't seem very clear at the moment. Some parts of it may give cause for concern. But in any case, he should be allowed to state clearly what his vision is. And if he does qualify under the party rules, then he should be allowed to contest.
Well, I'll have you hold briefly because there's a look at the NPP right now. Or it looks like there's a lot of issues going on there, where the first vice chairman Freddie Blay has written to the police despite his earlier refusal to cooperate with investigations into operation of the party's EcoBank account, following a complaint by a champon believed to be in the camp of the party chairman Paul Afoko and General Secretary Kwabena Japon. Leading members of the party, including PC, Apio Fori, former NPP MP for Esukuma Dobeng Brakwa, believe there are elements within the party working against the candidature of Nana Akufo-Addo. But how good or bad are these developments within the party?
Now, listen, again, I've always insisted that this issue about the accounts and the money and whatever it is a red herring. It's utterly a red herring. It is not the issue at stake. The fight at stake remains the fight between Afoko Japan and the Akufo-Addo camp. Now, NPP is each day this fight continues. The party continues to fall further and further down in the scheme of Ghana. The scheme must be fixed because the fight is getting worse and worse by the day. And we do need the NPP. We need even if they lose, we need a strong opposition. If they win, we need a strong government. This situation must not be allowed to continue. And all of us are saying to the party that fix it. If Nana needs to go and grovel before Afoko and Kwabena Japan in order to bring sanity, then he should. If not, the party should get rid of them. But the way they're going, it's all parties are going to lose, include both camps. And the situation is now bordering. First, it was just absurd. Now it is tragic.
So the NPP is the biggest opposition party, no doubt about that. We're talking about the NDC also. And from the look of things, NDC is trying to build an image of a united party. We cannot rule out the fact that they also have their own internal wranglings, but it looks like the NPP is having too many issues. Do you see any hope for the NPP in 2016?
Well, the thing is this. There's a long time between now and 2016. There's a long time, it's enough time for the NPP to fix whatever is wrong with it. But also bear in mind that what is going on now in the NDC is not particularly surprising. They're going into a season of primaries, and so there will be some internal wrangling. They have a better reputation of managing to hold party discipline and to remain united than the NPP have under these circumstances. So truly, it's not a big issue at the moment. I don't think, compared to what is happening in the NPP, that's nothing to write home about. All of us Ghanaians should be concerned about the way a rancor, which is the NPP, which is not good for the largest voting party in Ghana. We should also be concerned about the violence that has both sides of the divide within of the NDC divide. Those are far more concerns than really what is happening in the NDC at the moment.
Well, many thanks to you, Mr. Joe Jackson. He is a political commentator. Really appreciate your time on today's big story. We're still trying to get our man, Afre Kwache Nyama, who is at the NPP headquarters, to bring us more on the filing of nominations by President Mahama. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you more on today's big story. This is today's big story. President Mahama has filed his nomination to contest the NDC's presidential primary scheduled for November 7. Let's go to the NDC headquarters for a live update of the filing of nominations.
Sit down.
We've just seen excerpts from the party headquarters where the president has filed his nomination. Afre is on the line, our man who's been following the president on his filing of nomination. Hello, Afre. Hello, Afre. Hello, Afre. I think we lost Afre on the phone lines. Let's go back to the headquarters and get more live updates from the headquarters and gauge the mood of the people around there. We'll still try to get Afre back to tell us more about the filing of nominations. Joy News correspondent Kwacha Afre Nyama is back on the line. Hello, Afre.
Yeah, hello, Aisha.
Yes, we didn't get the opportunity to see what was happening around the place. What is the atmosphere like? Can you paint a picture?
Well, the crowd here, supporters, teaming supporters of the NDC, very ecstatic, very jubilant mood here. The president just finished delivering his speech after he had filed his nomination. And let me give you a brief idea of what happened before the president went on the mini rally right in front of the party's headquarters to address the party supporters. And in fact, a number of top government officials were here today. You had the chief of staff himself. You had a number of government appointees, including ministers. Samuel Kudjetua Blakwa, deputy transport Minister Joyce Bawumokhtari as well was here. The Speaker of Parliament himself, Edward Duajaho, was here. And the president, after going through the processes, made one thing clear, that he's confident that he can deliver a one-touch victory for the NDC in the crucial election next year after the party has been in power for 8 years. And another point that he makes is that despite the fact that there have been some difficulties, he believes that the party has thrived in all this and delivered on its mandate. A number of their promises, their infrastructural development and all that. One key point he makes, though, is about the fact that he believes that the NDC remains a united party despite some of the challenges that it has faced while in government particularly.
Did he make the point about this George Boateng who has picked also nomination forms to contest him? Did he say anything about him?
Well, on the day that the vice president picked up forms, one thing he made clear was that the president was ready for any internal competition. Well, today, while President Mahama was going through the process again, with filing his nomination forms, the general secretary of the party made an indirect reference to internal competition in this regard, indirectly referring to George Boateng, saying that so far only one person has picked the nomination forms. He read aspects of the party's constitution, obviously pointing to how events have unfolded with George Boateng's picking up some forms. The party has said that those forms were indeed not genuine forms, and that got the president laughing, but he himself did not make any specific and direct reference to George Boateng seeking to challenge him.
But we were told by the General Secretary that they fired two of the people who sold the nomination forms. I'm talking about the Administrative Secretary and the accountant. What did your checks reveal?
Well, indeed, on the day that announcement was made, that was last week, the accountant was in that office. But today, I specifically did that check, and I did not see that accountant who the party says had been working here for some 20 years, and the other administrative officer whose office is also just close by. I did not cite them at the premises at all.
Just wanted to be sure, because George Boateng indicated that what the General Secretary was saying was just to put dust in our eyes, and that he couldn't have done that. So this confirms that probably they have been sacked. So what more can you tell us, Afre?
Well, other party officials addressed the gathering today. Party chairman, Mr. Kofi Portofie. Of course, we've not heard from him in a while, especially since the party opened nominations through this process. About 78 hours to go to close the nomination. The point he makes is that, and this is not surprising because since this process began, all the executives have declared support for President Mahama. Mr. Kofi Portofie says that they believe that he's the man to deliver a second victory for the party, and they are confident that this one-touch victory that President John Mahama talked about can happen, indeed, if he remains their candidate for the 2016 election.
Well, many thanks to you, Afre Kwatre Nyama, Joy News correspondent who hosts at the NDC headquarters at Adabraka to check the president filing his nomination. That's where we draw the curtains for today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim.